welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys had a great July and I'm excited to show you all the things that I've made. I actually shot this video last week and it turns out there was no audio in it, so I had to reshoot it again, which was a bummer. So I'm just going to show everything on the mannequin this time and then insert clips of me wearing it from the last week's shoot. You'll also notice that I'm in a different location. It is really doomy and gloomy and gray today, and there just wasn't enough light, so I moved into my sewing room, I set up some lights, and hopefully it looks all right. The first item that I made was for the Halberd Handmade's The Sew Back project. The idea of this was to find a picture of yourself in a younger time and make an outfit inspired by or copy the outfit you were wearing in that photograph. So I can insert a picture of the photograph here along with the outfit that I made. For the top, I used my tried and true button-up shirt pattern, but I left off the sleeves. I found a tutorial on Grainline Studios that showed you how to sort of like alter a pattern to make it sleeveless, which included sort of narrowing in the shoulders around the top, as well as providing some shaping along the yoke. So there's a wedge taken out here, which just gives you a little bit more of a curve on that shoulder line. The fabric I used was this, I call it creamsicle Indian cotton plaid. And then I was able to find these cute little pink buttons that I think match perfectly. I'm pretty happy with how this shirt turned out. I think if I were to make another sleeveless shirt though, I would narrow in the shoulders just a little bit more. So have it more of like looks sort of racerbacky, if that makes sense. Just a lot narrower shoulder I think would look more flattering. I'm also pretty happy because there's some accidental pattern matching across the side seam. And the side seams here, I did French seams and then I just didn't like how flappy it looked, so I ended up sewing the French seams down so it looks like a flat felled seam from the inside, but so it should be really, really strong and sturdy, but I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. And then the fact that like these horizontal lines ended up matching is even better. To go along with this shirt, I also made another pair of ginger jeans. I think ideally I would have liked to have made Morgan jeans to go with this and to really match my inspiration photo better, but I just couldn't justify the price of the pattern, and since I already had the ginger jeans pattern, that's what I went with. I used this sort of gray stretch denim, and I'm sorry it looks really wrinkly. I threw it in the wash and it just didn't come out very well, so I'm going to have to go back through and iron it. So I used a gray stretch denim and gold stitching for all the top stitching, and then on the insides I used the same orange fabric for the pockets and the waist, and then I used just sort of like brass rivets and buttons and stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy with how these turned out, pretty good fit wise. I didn't make any change from these and my last pair, and I still think they're really, really comfortable. There might just be a little bit of excess length in the front rise. It has a little bit of like a mom jean look to it that I kind of want to work on, but all in all, I'm really happy with how I'm getting this pattern to fit me. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll remember that I actually sewed this dress up in February and I submitted it for a contest on pattern review and it won. The intention was always for me to wear this to a wedding that I have coming up in a few weeks. Well, I went to go try it on and it didn't fit me anymore. I was really, really gutted. So I ripped the skirt off and reused that. It just has some box pleats in it, so it was really easy to just open up one of the box pleats in the back to give me that extra space that I needed. And then I added a different bodice on top. I didn't want to spend a whole lot of time on it, so I just used the bodice from Simplicity, Butterick pattern. I can't remember the number of it, so I'll try to insert it here. So I just pulled the bodice off of that pattern and then cut into the neckline to give it more of a shape that I wanted. And that really cut down the time it took to manufacture this. For the inside of the bodice, I had originally just done it in this same polyester taffeta, but it was sort of really uncomfortable. It's something that I remember when I took photos of it last time, is that it just like stuck to my skin. So this time around, instead of lining it in the polyester, I lined it in a cotton, black cotton, just to make it a little bit more comfortable and breathable. If you'll remember, the original bodice had a bunch of beading along the neckline, and I just couldn't fathom redoing that all again. It just wasn't worth it to me. For a dress that cost maybe $15 to make. So instead, I got this little blingy, sparkly applique, and then I attached it to some black ribbon, and it just ties around like a belt. And I think it really like pulls everything together, and it still has that sort of like blingy elegance to it. And I can pull this belt off and use it again. If I'm honest, I'm never going to wear this dress after the wedding. It's just, it's actually not that bad of a dress. It's just that I personally have so many bad experiences with it, and the fact that it's on its now third rendition of the bodice. So I did it really fast. It looks good enough for the wedding, and I think it looks pretty, and it'll probably go to Goodwill after this. Next, I made this dress with Vogue 8755. Once again, I'll put up a picture of the pattern art because I can't remember the numbers. I used this lovely, really lightweight Irish linen, and it has sort of like a cross-hatched loose weave design in it, which I thought was really pretty. It is so comfortable for summer, so breathable. It does take a lot of fabric. This is a 60-inch wide fabric, and I think I used about 5 yards, and I had literally the tiniest little scraps left over. I did manage to eke out the bodice lining in the same linen fabric. Before I made this dress, I did wash the linen 3 or 4 times. I did it through the washer and the tumble dryer, just to get it a much more relaxed feel to it, and hopefully eliminate some of those really intense wrinkles that linen is sort of known for. And certainly the more that I wear it and wash it, it will get a lot more soft. So I'm excited for that. This is the first time I've sewn this pattern, even though it's been in my stash for quite a while, and I'm absolutely in love with it. It has this wonderful full skirt. I think it's a full circle. It also has these really nice pockets. I'll try to stand up so you can see them a little bit better. So they have a nice wide band on the pocket, and then they're nice and deep. Sometimes even dresses with pockets, for me, the pockets are very shallow, and so it's like, what is the point? You can't even use them. And that is certainly not the case on this. The top is made with a yoke piece that comes just over the shoulder line, and then the front is gathered. And it's gathered both on the exterior as well as the lining. I think that I might try to draft a lining piece that doesn't have those gathers if I make this pattern again, just to reduce some of that bulk up here on the clavicle. Has a nice V-neck. One change that I made to the pattern was that it comes with like a button facing or placket. The pattern wants you just to have that folded into the inside. When I sewed it on like that, I was just getting a little bit of like a bump out here where I couldn't get it to lay flat. So I unpicked the whole thing, and now I sandwiched that placket in between the outside and the lining. So it's completely invisible in the bodice. You don't see that placket at all, but it still gives you that same stability and structure that you need to put the buttons in. Now I'm going to move on to the bra making portion of my monthly sews. If you'll remember, last month I made a floral scuba like skater style dress. I had a lot of excess material left over, so I was able to make a couple of pieces of lingerie out of it. The first is this Harriet bra. I've made this a couple times now, so there's not a whole lot to say about it. I used just a lot of pale pink findings on the inside, as well as a double layer of pale pink mesh. The cups are lined with a stable lining, so they don't stretch at all, and that's just because the scuba was quite supple, and I didn't want to have that sort of like bag out and get uncomfortable looking. I also made a Watson bra out of that same material. I didn't line this bra at all because I wanted it to be just a really comfortable lounging style bra. I used leftover yellow strapping and then pink elastics on the inside for this one as well. Then I got a new to me pattern, which was Simplicity by Madeline, and that is number 8229, I believe. The first one I made is this teal lace bra. This again has an underwire. The reason I wanted to try this pattern is because I read that vertical seamed cups are nice for smaller chests. And so this one is just this cup has two pattern pieces. There's like a triangle here and then another piece there. This bra is fully lined in power mesh, so it's completely stretchy, which makes it really, really comfortable to wear and something I wasn't expecting. And then I just use like these Aruba Aqua lingerie elastics, some nude channeling, and some teal strapping. Using that same Simplicity 8229 pattern, I went ahead and made another one out of a tailor-made kit that I had purchased. Pretty disappointed in this bra. So I made these cups with a stable lining in them to keep it from bagging out. Fortunately, I didn't realize that when I was putting the cups in the teal bra, I was stretching the cup to meet the cradle size. And so this time when I put it in, the cup didn't stretch, and I ended up having like an inch of the bridge that extended up here. So I cut that down so that it would meet, but now I think the bridge looks really wide and ugly. I can show you a picture of this on the mannequin. Because the bridge is not stabilized, it just stretches out even further when you put it on. So I'm really unhappy with the way that this bra turned out. Luckily, the tailor-made kit is super, super generous, so I have more than enough materials to make this bra, or make this again with a different pattern that I prefer. And then I got a new bra pattern, and this one is from Orange Lingerie. And the bra pattern is the Marlboro bra. Hope I'm saying that right. All of the fabrics for this I got in a tailor-made grab bag. If you're not familiar with those, I highly recommend them. They're $5 and you get a ton of stuff in them. And I've bought two of them, and each time I've gotten a bra inspiration from each grab bag. So like, it's amazing. So the scuba came in this grab bag. I didn't quite have enough of this navy scuba, so I did have to add, I'm calling them ventilation panels of mesh just along the side underarm. But then I put scuba again at the center back where the hook and eye closure is. And just for a punch of fun color, I used these cherry pink straps and underwire channeling from Art Crafts. I think they work really well with all of the teal blues, and it really picks up the colors of the flower in this. And I think that concludes everything that I made in the month of July. August won't be a super busy month for me. I went on one business trip already. I have one scheduled for tomorrow, and then the following week I will be in Idaho for a week for business, and then I have the wedding for a week that I'm going to. So, I mean, the amount of time that I'm going to be home to sew is very, very minimal. So don't be surprised. Don't hate me if I only have a few things to show. I think that's it, and I will see you guys later.